So I'm sitting right here at my table. This is in my studio space also. This is my sit down area. So sometimes I want to craft, or if I want to do a live actually sitting down, this is the area that I sit at. And so behind me is this, we've put up this awesome piece of slat wall, okay? So this stuff is incredible. I had it in my old location. I love it. It's so versatile. I have it in my studio at home. And it has all kinds of attachments and pegs and all the things that can go on it. So if you're looking to do something in like your creative space, I highly recommend slat wall. It just screws. It's very heavy, very durable, but they just screw right into your studs. Okay, so your little screw holes are going to be kind of in these little areas right here, so you can just screw them right into the studs into the wall. And it's just fabulous. So at my old location, I had napkinized the walls in the kitchen area. And so I knew when we moved, I really, really wanted another napkin wall. Let me hold this up a little bit so you can kind of see the height here. This section of slat wall is 8 by 4. So it is 8 feet wide and it's 4 feet tall. But they also make them in 2 by 4 sections. So 4 by 8 and 2 by 4 if you want something smaller. But I just really, really love it. So yes, Cindy, if you missed it, no worries. You can go back and watch it. It was at 11 today. Oh, you just watched the replay. Okay, I misread it. Good. Well, I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad that y'all love my space. If you're ever in our neck of the woods, please let me know, because I would love for you to come, and I'd love to meet you and, you know, bring you in and give you a live tour. Okay? Not just online, but actually live. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm doing to this wall. Everything you see here, all of this, y'all, is napkins. It's all napkins. I'm decoupaging them right onto the slats of the slat wall. And I'm sorry if you hear squeaking. It's this chair that I'm sitting in. It's kind of squeaky. So I'm putting the napkins on here, and then when I'm done, I'll be doing a top coat to seal it. You know, again, we always want to seal our napkin art. I want to make sure this wall is durable because I will be putting in attachments, hanging things, you know, onto it, all of that. So I thought I would just kind of share my process with you today. Would y'all like to see that? I think it would be fun. It's super easy. It's super easy. And since I didn't do a craft with you earlier, I thought, well, I'll just work on my wall and show that to you. So the first thing I want you to notice, and I'm going to angle my camera down here just a little bit, is I'm cutting my napkins into strips, okay? So you're going to need to measure, and the measurement I'm using for this slat wall is about 2.5 inches. And then, of course, some napkins, depending on the size of the napkin, will be long, right? And some of them may be shorter, depending on, you know, again, if it's a cocktail napkin, if it's a luncheon napkin, or a guest towel napkin. So I just didn't worry about the length. There's different lengths on the wall here. So if it was a shorter one, I just made sure and kind of, you know, that's the hardest part, is deciding kind of like, okay, where to put this one, where to put this pattern, where to put this color. And so I start kind of in the middle. I started in the middle, and then I started working my way out and finishing some rows. And then once you've kind of done that and you finish some rows, then you step back and you just look at it. Like, you step back and you look at it because then you realize like where your eye goes. Like, my eye goes straight to the reds or to the greens or something like that. And then you can kind of balance out the color as you go. So I cut these, y'all. I cut these on this guillotine here. You see it like this? Just cuts like this. It's super easy to cut the napkins. Really, really easy. You can cut through more than one at a time. And then you're going to wind up with, you know, strips like this, right? So the next thing I'm doing is just separating the napkins. So my little lick and stick method. And I would recommend, if you're gonna do this, go ahead and cut several strips of several colors of several different napkins. Now, obviously, I'm going very colorful. This is my studio here in the shop. I love color, I love pattern. But if you have a certain color scheme that you wanna stick with, like maybe your creative space is more, you know, turquoise and greens or something, then you just choose the napkins that fit your color scheme. I'm going very, I guess you could call it kind of, I don't know what to call it. I just kind of pick patterns and colors that I like. And again, because of my space here, color really inspires me. And so think of it almost like, I don't know, flea market chic. I don't know what to call it. So I want to come in and separate quite a few of these, because once you start decoupaging on the wall, it's kind of a pain to have to stop and start and stop and start. So it's a good idea just to go ahead, have all your strips cut, okay? All your strips cut. And then, come on. Make sure you get all the plies off the napkin. That's very important. Otherwise, your top one will, which has the art on it, will try to pull away. So that's what I just sat here and did. I just literally just cut these. Like I said, you can cut them a few at a time. You can cut them folded if you have a guillotine cutter like I do. That cutter is by Fiskars, and I use it a lot for paper crafting. I don't know. I use it for all the things. So just separating so that I have several of these ready to go. I promise you it's going to be so nice if you do that, because then you can just start decoupaging and playing, and it's going to be great. So I'm going to have you kind of look down. You can see all my piles. Sorry about the jerk there. You can see I've kind of got some piles laid out here. And then we just begin, okay? I'm just using Podge Matte. Sorry, it's backwards. Podge Matte. I have a little cup, you know, make sure you have a brush. And then the other thing I would recommend that you do is have some baby wipes, okay? It is important. You want to make sure that your slat wall is clean. And sometimes if it's new slat wall, like if you just got it, and by the way, slat wall, I ordered mine online because I ordered it through a distributor to get wholesale pricing. But they do sell it at most of the home improvement stores, like Home Depot, Lowe's, whoever your home improvement store is. So take a baby wipe, and we want to really wipe this down and make sure that you're kind of wiping along this edge right here. Sometimes there can be kind of some dusty debris kind of stuff, and you just want to make sure anytime you're putting napkins onto something that, you know, that it's nice and clean. Okay. It's already white, comes in white, but slat wall actually comes in all kinds of, it comes in different colors. Do you hear that? That means we're getting a delivery. Somebody rang the back doorbell, which means we're getting a delivery. Every time the back doorbell rings, it plays "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." And it makes me giggle every time, so I haven't changed it. All right. Let me see if y'all have any questions. It does look like a quilt, don't you think, Jackie? It really does look like a quilt. I totally agree with you there. Whoops, let me turn this volume down. Yes, I totally agree with you. It looks like a quilt. Okay, all right. So what we're gonna do now, and I am just on my cell phone. It was just the easiest thing to set up over here. That's why the view looks a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead now and just take some Mod Podge and squirt it into my little cup here. This is just a little metal tart tin. Okay, okay? And the only thing you need for this, now I like texture, I like a little texture, so what I'm using is just a natural bristle brush. We call these chip brushes. You can see mine's pretty fluffed out here because of working on my wall. If you wanted it to be super smooth, you would use your plastic wrap. Okay, you've seen me probably do that technique here on my page, but I like having a little texture on this wall. So I'm gonna pick a pattern to go right here, and I think I'm actually gonna start with this pretty green. Look at this pretty green. Isn't that pretty? So my eye goes to this, so you can see there's some here. So I kind of can see where it's kind of been scattered around. I'm thinking we're gonna go about right there. So let me turn my camera here just a little bit. I'm gonna dip into my Mod Podge. And I'm just gonna take the Mod Podge just straight to the wall. And if you drip, just make sure and go back through your drip. And I just kind of do a large section. You don't need a ton of Mod Podge for this, okay? And then let's put this one, can y'all see? Okay, I'm gonna put this one right here. So I'm just gonna start kind of lining it up. Now, if you cut your napkin strip at 2.5 inches, which is what I did, you're gonna have a little bit of white showing on each edge. So just try your best to kind of go in the middle. Here's why I do this. First off, it's an easy number to cut at. It's an easy number to cut my napkin strips at, 2.5 inches. But that also, I like that little white edge on the top and the bottom. Just that, it's a little tiny white edge. I like it because it looks like I sanded it, but I didn't, right? So it looks a little like I kind of sanded it. So I don't know if you can see this. You can probably see, you're gonna see like bubbles and some wrinkles, right? I think you can even see that on the camera here. Now I'm gonna take my chip brush and I'm just gonna start pouncing. I usually start in the middle and then I'm gonna work my way this way, and I'm gonna work my way this way. Isn't that pretty? Like, it's that easy. It's that easy. And so now I have it on there. So now where I had those bubbles and stuff, I've got a little bit of kind of a wrinkle. Well, I don't want to call it wrinkles because I don't want y'all to think it's wrinkly. It's just texture. And some of the texture's coming from this part of the brush. Hi, Kimberly. Hello. Hi, Rhonda. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Good. We still have locals coming in for our look around. So, yeah, y'all can still wander around. It's fine. Okay. It's all good. Thank you. Okay. So now we've got this little section on, right? So let's put on another piece. I'm thinking let's do this one. Again, I just kind of try to watch and look. Oh, I haven't separated this one. And then I usually, like I said, I think I told you before, I started kind of in the middle and worked my way out. Now that I've done that on several rows, now I'm just kind of going a row at a time, right? Or you can do like a section at a time if you want to. I'd love for you to come and visit. Yes, absolutely. If you're ever, we're in the Fort Worth area, so if you're ever in our neck of the woods, let me know. Reach out to me. Email me. Let me know, okay? All right, so I'm going to do this part right here. So let's move the camera again. I'll slide my chair back. And I'm just gonna keep going. I'm not doing the top coat. See, there's a little bit of that stuff. I didn't clean that very well, but that's okay. It's gonna be fine. Sometimes they have a little bit of a dusty stuff. It's not really dusty. I don't know what it is. I think it's from whatever they used to cut out like a router or whatever to cut out the slats. So I'm just gonna bring this up. It can overlap a little bit if you want it to, or just butt right up next to it. And I'm just going to try to kind of follow that roadway. And sometimes I do it straighter than others, but you'll be hard pressed to see where, because there's so much pattern going on. Again, going to come back with my chip brush and start in the center. I love the texture that the chip brush gives this, because this is very, very flat. And I'm going to take my camera off in a minute and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this texture. I missed a little bit of corner right here. So let's add that in. There we go. Do you see what I mean? It's so easy. It's so easy, and it's just super, super fun. And it's just such a fun, kind of playful look. Yeah, and it looks like kind of like a patchwork quilt on my wall. I love it. Okay, I'm going to take my camera off in just a second here. And let me turn this around because I want to show you this texture I'm talking about. Okay, so look at the texture. Do you see? If I had used my plastic wrap, this would be all completely smooth. But I like the texture. I like it looking like it has a little bit of texture. And this texture is happening from using that bristle brush. Is it showing up on camera well? Do you see it? It's just really pretty. So I like to embrace texture. Let's see if we can see it on another piece. Harder to see it on the white. Let's see if you can see it a little bit on here. So it's just got this texture to it. I love it. Right? So you get a little bit of texture without having to put any kind of texture on the wall. Does that make sense? Isn't it pretty? Oop, I'm showing you the outside. That's my window that's right here. And fortunately for me, these windows have a film on it. So when I can see outside, so I can have all the natural light, but nobody can see inside. So I can see outside, but they can't see inside. Right? That's the process. It's so easy, y'all. So literally, you're just taking it a strip at a time. Now, sometimes, like this one, I cut this one in a very specific way. I love this napkin. So you can see wherever I decide to put it, do you see how it's much shorter, right? And that's okay. They don't have to all be lined up. It's really good to just kind of play around with the placement. Let's put this one right here. You just kind of, especially once you get a few of them up, and you could do this on a regular wall. It doesn't have to just be slat wall, okay? You could do it on a regular wall. Let's see, I'm gonna take it right here. I kind of try to keep the seams from all lining up, you know what I mean? Like, you want the seams to all be kind of in different places and not lined up in the exact same spot. I love how this one looks. And I just use this to create that pretty texture. If you don't want the texture, then you'll use the plastic wrap, okay? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't see it, right? Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. Okay, so right here, we could use something else. And again, you can just pick and choose. So I just kind of try to watch, and I look, I'm not as worried about pattern as it is color. Like, I'm just trying to make sure that my colors are kind of distributed about in the right place. So once I get all of this done, I have these rows to do at the bottom. I have 2 rows to do at the top because I'm sitting right now. Then my napkin slat wall little area, my little napkin backdrop will be done, and I'm just super pleased with it. It's so fun. So when it's all completely dry, then I will come back in and I will do a top coat over it, because I want this wall to be durable and I want it to last. And I'm going to be hanging things up here, and I'm going to have, constantly be changing things around, because that's just what I like to do. So I want to make sure that it's really good and durable. The other thing I wanted to tell y'all, hang on, let me see. I'm gonna watch for your questions here in just a second. The kitchen, yes, I can post pictures of the kitchen. It's not this kitchen that we have now. It's the kitchen we used to have. Oh yeah, the windows won't fade. Yeah, it helps control the sunlight and the temperature too. Yes. So yeah, Jill, that's exactly right. It's almost kind of a stucco effect, but it's very flat, if that makes sense. Like, it's not super raised. It just gives you this kind of illusion that there's texture underneath, and there's really not. Okay. Yeah, it looks so good. I really, really like it. So yes, Jackie, I will put Mod Podge over the whole thing because I want to make sure that it's sealed. You know, if you had a well aired situation, you maybe could spray seal it, but I don't want to do that. I don't like to use spray sealers inside. It's just too stinky, and those chemicals are not good for you. So I'm just going to Mod Podge it over the top to seal it, and it should be just perfect. Okay. What else was I going to say? Oh, I remember now. So obviously I'm having some fun with this, but you could even use the exact same napkin. So I have some napkins right here that are kind of like a white shiplap. So if you wanted to give the illusion of a shiplap wall, you literally could decoupage these shiplap napkins all over the wall, right? So, you know, it doesn't have to be so big, bold, and colorful like this. It could be very neutral. If you had some wood grain napkins and you wanted to do that to have a little bit of a rustic kind of look, you could use wood grain napkins. If you have certain colors that are your thing, you could use those colors. So I just want you to know that there's lots of potential here. And this is extremely budget friendly, right? This is extremely budget friendly. So thinking about transforming a wall with napkins is something I really want you to think about doing. Or maybe you have a large cork board or bulletin board, or you have something, you know, I have napkinized cork. I did that in my studio at home, in my craft room at home. And I have a video on that too. I need to post that for y'all. But it's gorgeous to put napkins on top of cork too. And then you can still puncture, you can still push your tacks in and everything. So, you know, lots of really fun decorative aspects for changing up some things in your space by using napkins. Another idea I want to give you is the back of a bookshelf. Like, I have bookshelves on the other end of the room here. We'll scan over there. And I don't know if you can see them way over there. You could always put some pretty napkins in the back wall of the bookshelf. And just take something that is just an ordinary bookshelf from IKEA. Those came from IKEA. And turn them into a really pretty kind of custom piece of furniture. Okay, you can transform. I have a coffee table out here that I plan to transform in my Napkin Club. And so we're going to do some fun things with that. Furniture pieces, especially if you're like me and you like to find, like, I love to find old things that have, that are cute, have a lot of character, and then, you paint them out and you can add napkin art to them. You don't have to cover the whole thing in napkins. It might just be accenting areas, putting a little floral cluster here or there. But really, really fun things, y'all, that you can be doing with napkins. And if you're interested in joining a napkin club, I'd love for you to come and join mine. I have a napkin club where we send out a variety pack of napkins every month to our napkin club members, and then we make things with them in a private Facebook group. We have the best time, and so you'll have access to all of the workshops that I use with those napkins, plus all the past workshops. There's nothing you can't put a napkin on. Especially we're entering into spring, and so like terracotta pots when you're thinking about putting out plants. wicker, straw. There's sound. You can create some beautiful things on just about any kind of texture if you have somebody to kind of show you and guide you and give you the tips and tricks on how to make it look good, you know? So if you're interested in joining the Napkin Club, just put in the comments, send me the info. Send me the info about the Napkin Club, and I'll be happy to send you to the website so that you can read all about it. Okay? So do y'all have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me? I just felt like, you know, because normally during Craft and Chat, I always craft a something. Stephanie, the group is $24 a month. It's $24 a month. That gets you your napkin bundle, no extra shipping every month, which is a variety bundle, and then access to the private Facebook group, and then access to the current workshops. I go live in the Napkin Club every Tuesday night. Every once in a while, we have a two-part session. Like this week, we're doing the Easter garden flag, and I'm going live for part 2 with the girls tomorrow morning. So it's really a lot of fun. And then you'll also have access to our Club Hub, which has all of our workshops in it since I started the Napkin Club. So it's really got a wealth of information in there about what to use and what to do with using different types of surfaces. Okay, so let's see. Darla says, my mind is going crazy on napkinizing different areas. Maybe a small half bath. A small half bath would be beautiful. And you don't even have to napkinize the whole wall. You could even do the lower half of the wall and then put a pretty wood trim where the napkins meet, the painted wall or whatever you want to call it. It could even just be something like that. It could even just be an accent wall. You don't have to do every single wall, but I think it could be a lot of fun. You can't wait for napkinizing furniture. That is really fun. And I think you'll be amazed at some of the transformations, because you can take things that you have found or maybe have had, have a little wear and tear on them, and we can make them look fabulous. Okay. Let's see. Mary says, oh my gosh, you're inspiring me. We're currently remodeling my kitchen, and I've been struggling with trying to decide on tiles or backsplash. Maybe I just want to do this instead. If you're going to do an area like your kitchen, okay, or a bathroom, your kitchen or your bathroom, because there's moisture in those areas in our homes, and we have like heat from maybe a dishwasher, heat from the shower in the bathroom, I would suggest whatever you do that you seal those with a nice waterproof sealer. Okay, there are spray sealers, but there are also paint on sealers, just clear sealers, just paint on. Okay, you can just use a paintbrush to paint them on, but I would definitely seal. If they're going to be in certain areas like that, you want to make sure that you can wipe it down clean. You want to make sure that the heat, the moisture, the steam, things like that don't affect it. So that's what I would advise if you're going to do napkinizing in those areas. Okay. How did you adhere the slats with nails? Sorry, I'm late. Okay, that's okay, Sally. This comes in one piece. Okay, this comes in one piece. Oops. This is it's 4x8. You can also get a 2x4, so it comes in one piece. These are not separate slats. It's one piece. And then you'll screw in. You'll need a drill to drill into your stud, and then use a screw to screw into, and you'll use the screw inside the little divots, valleys, whatever you want to call it. And they just screw right into the studs. Very, very easy. They're fairly heavy. You'll need some muscle to hold it up. Once you get a few screws in, it's fine. It's just that initial holding it up, keeping it level while you're screwing into the studs. Am I free to come help with napkinizing a wall? Absolutely. Are you local? I don't think you are, Jackie, but that's okay. Tammy, here's the thing about pegboard, okay? I saw your question here about pegboard. The thing about pegboard, yes, you can napkinize pegboard, okay? But it's hard because you have to deal with all those little holes, So what I would recommend if you're going to do pegboard is paint out your pegboard, whatever color you want it to be, and then accent the wall with napkins. Maybe do around, something like a flourish, or a cluster of something, flowers or something around a corner. And then you'll want a little file, like a little file tool that's kind of rounded to go in and literally just, because you're going to have to go in and kind of sand eat those little holes where your napkins are. So it would be very tedious to do an entire piece of pegboard, but it wouldn't be if you're just doing maybe something cute on the corners, or a strip across the bottom, a strip across, across the top, the outer edges, or something like that. Okay? I hope that helps. These are called slat wall. It's called slat wall, SLATWALL, and it comes in sections. They do sell it at home improvement stores. You can buy it lots of different ways. Unfinished, white. I got mine already with the white coating here, white on it. They come all different kinds of ways. You can find a lot more options and variations online, but your home improvement stores will carry just basic slat wall. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yes. Would you use Mod Podge hard coat? Not necessarily. It's actually quite fine just to use your Mod Podge Matte. I'm not going to say you couldn't use your hard coat. These are fairly, they're flat, but they're not like shiny slick. Like most of the time, if I'm using hard coat, it's for something that's non-porous, shiny, slick. Like this isn't glossy at all. It's kind of a, I don't know what to call this. It just feels like a painted finish. Okay, so I think the matte is just fine. If you want to use a hard coat, you can, but it's not going to make any difference sealing it, whether it's really the hard coat or the matte Mod Podge. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, let's see. Diane Sutherland. In my booth in an antique mall, I did a border at the top on the pegboard walls. It was a Mackenzie napkin, turned out awesome. I did paint the space first, as Miss Tracy suggested. Ooh, a Mackenzie Child's napkin. I bet that was really gorgeous. And the great thing about, like, if you are going to napkinize a pegboard around the outer edges, if you know you're not going to be putting any attachments there, you don't really have to mess with the holes, right? Unless you know you're going to put an attachment there. I bet that was gorgeous. Yeah, Diane, kind of like a laminate. Except for this one, it feels a little flatter, not like a slick laminate. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Okay. All right. So I hope that I have inspired you to maybe think about doing napkins in a fun, decorative way in your home. If you're in the Napkin Club, you're going to see a little bit more of these types of projects. Like I said, I have a coffee table that I want to transform. We're even going to be working later with an old window. I'm doing what we call reverse decoupage, which is a really cool technique on I'm going to be using an old window. If you wanted to practice the technique even on a glass frame, right? Like a picture frame with glass, something like that. So it's going to be fun. I have some really fun things planned for us this spring. Beautiful napkins. We still have a few of our March bundle that just shipped earlier this week. So if you're interested at all, make sure and send me the info for the Napkin Club in your comment, and I'll be happy to send that to you.